Welcome to Embodied Alchemy with me, Rebecca Wilson, an embodied experiential space for you to drop deep into the wealth of wisdom within your being and activate a fuller, richer you. I am an embodied business coach, embodiment queen, sacred business midwife, and alchemist. I will help you birth your visions and sacred business into the world from an easeful, embodied, and rooted space within. So you can be who you are here to be, create what you are here to create, and activate the wealth of energy that is you. I will activate you into self-leadership, self-mastery to create your legacy on earth. Welcome on the journey, my love. Hi, love. Welcome to another episode of Embodied Alchemy. In this episode, I wanted to share a little insight into my own journey within conscious and sacred business. And those insights I want to share is how I have evolved my business the Embodied Way. When I first began my journey of sacred and conscious business, I, hand on heart, wasn't actually really aware that was exactly what I was doing. I had been feeling this deep call to step into service, and through different experiences in my own healing journey, which then led me to trainings and certifications in many different areas of healing and coaching and embodiment, I began to open up my world and my space to offer journeys and circles and retreats and immersions for women. At this point in my journey in my business, I didn't really have a set goal or vision of this becoming a business, which is very interesting, as previous to this realm of work that I now find myself in, I had my own business and worked for myself from being 19 years old. So I was very well versed in operating a business, working with other people, creating offerings and services for people to arrive into, being my own boss and looking after all of the business aspects of things. Yet somehow when I began this journey, which is nearly a decade ago now, I didn't really hold that vision in mind. But very quickly, as the message that I was sharing moved through me and the women that surrounded me and out into my community and further out globally across the world, I realized this message needs to be heard. It needs to be experienced. And women are longing to receive this wisdom and this information, and they're longing to be held in these spaces that I was creating and offering. And that became the point of pivot for me, because it was there in that moment that I recognized the need of the message, the reason, the why, the space that I create. And it was in that I recognized, well, to truly reach a huge scale, to reach as many women as I possibly can across the world, to support them, guide them, teach them, show them, mentor them into their own journey of healing and awakening, into their dreams, their desires, to embody greater aspects of themselves in life, in relationship, in love, in business. I needed to pivot, and I needed and wanted to begin to set some structures within my business and my offerings that allowed me to grow and expand and evolve. For me, it was vital and really important, that evolution and that scaling and growing took place in an embodied way. It's no surprise that I am deeply connected to the embodiment of all that I do, live, and create. I'm a very body-based person, very tactile and intuitive through the felt sense of my being, which is why I offer and create and give the services and work that I do into the world to support women back into their bodies. So scaling and growing and evolving my business needed to arrive for me in an embodied way. It was vital. I also felt into how this could be an opportunity to grow and expand myself and my inner world. Through the evolution and the scaling of my business, I was able to meet many different parts and aspects of myself and continue to do so. And so the inner healing was always taking place within the external expansion that was arriving and continues to arrive. So it became really important to me and very clear that to evolve my business the embodied way was to look at and welcome in my business as part of the wholeness of who I am. So it wasn't so much for it to be a separate part of my life or my identity or separated from other experiences that I have or have had, but in turn brought it into the wholeness of my being. I often speak about what lives in the body lives in the business, and this is a really beautiful moment to bring that reflection in. Because all of the patterns and beliefs and narratives that I personally carry inside of myself and the ones that you carry inside of yourself will show up in all areas and facets of life. They'll show up in relationship to self, to other partners, to children, to family members, to friends. And they also show up in your business and your work and your creations, especially when that thing that you're creating or that business or the sacredness that you're offering to the world is birthed from that deep soul place within. But of course, when we're in relationship to anything, we have an opportunity to be faced with or to arrive into our own personal triggers, wounds, contractions, beliefs, stories, and narratives. So here lives the journey of expanding business, scaling your business, an embodied way. So how did I do that? And how do I continue to do that? Well, for me, it was really important that I deeply committed to and continued my commitment to my own body practice, my own spiritual practice. And that looked like somatic healing, somatic bodywork, embodiment practices, movement, yoga, meditation, all of the practices that support me to feel connected to myself, which in turn allow me to expand and grow in my business and make decisions and take actions from an aligned space within myself, rather than a potential tendency that can arrive to be pulled outside of the self and look at what everybody else is doing and how they're doing it, and I should be doing it like them. These practices that I have support me to stay true to myself and to stay anchored and grounded within my inner world. Other ways and other practices that have supported me to expand and grow my business the embodied way. Inner healing of childhood wounds, which is a huge one. Often everything takes us back on a journey towards our formative years and those patterns and imprints that created stories and narratives and beliefs. The beliefs that the little child inside of me carries or carried around her and what they may mean about me. And ultimately that then creates a patterning or a blueprint for how we all show up in life, how we all show up in the world and in relationships, and also how we show up in business. Because as we've just realized, and as I've just spoken into, there's no separation. So that part of the little child inside that is terrified of being seen or doesn't want to take up too much space or fears speaking her truth or her voice, all those wounds rise. They become activated. They become alive as we step into sacred business and we are posting on social media, writing emails, writing blogs, creating online immersions, creating retreats, welcoming women or clients into your world. Maybe you are creating a service or an offering or a product. And there's a part of you that says like, will people like this? Will they like me? Will I be loved? Will I be liked if I say this, if I believe that, if I express my truth? These are all childhood patterns, formative year patterns that have the potential to show up as we begin to bring ourselves forward in the realm of sacred business. So within that healing required for myself and all of the women that I support in embodied business to release old identities and begin to rescript the beliefs that they carry around themselves, the world, their capabilities, their passions, their voice, their reason, their why, and so on. And within that, we get to release story, release habit, move out of the historical part of ourselves that has held some kind of belief true, and begin to step into a newer moment of pure potential and possibility, which is the present moment. So we begin to choose, navigate, make decisions from that place rather than from an old script or narrative that's running in the background. Expanding my capacity to be seen and to be visible has been a huge part of my personal journey in embodied business. And that has been a journey of truly allowing myself to take up space. And I know for many of the women that have journeyed with me and that I have guided and supported in embodied business, that has been part of their experience too. I have also, on my own personal journey, dived really deep into healing my feminine energy, my womb energy and my womb space to awaken deeper, fluid flowing energy of creation. So that creative source of inspiration is always activated and alive within me. And this is where new ideas, new visions, new concepts, new retreats and immersions and online courses are birthed from that deep space within and that connection to the creative rivers that flow inside my own being. Daily embodiment practices, daily practices of calming my nervous system. This is really huge for all people in sacred and conscious business, all people in life, because, you know, life has its way of pulling us out of ourselves and bringing experiences that have the potential to dysregulate our nervous system quite easily. So having embodiment practices, somatic movement practices, healing practices that support the nervous system to arrive back into a regulated state as smoothly, as easily as possible is going to help us in business and in decision making and action taking. And also as a coach, a healer, a therapist, somebody that works with other people, which is everyone. We're in relationship constantly. So having the ability to stay regulated or to come back into regulation in an easeful, smooth way supports the interactions that we have within life, within relationship, within business, within holding space for clients, for business meetings that you have with team members. All of that requires us to be able to hold on to ourselves, to arrive back into a grounded state of being where presence is, because we are able to be in the present moment. Recognizing that when we are in a dysregulated nervous system state, we are often not in the present moment. We are in a historical feeling that has been activated or triggered. So the awareness that we build around recognizing this is a pain, a wound, or a trauma, it's not true for this present moment. We get to differentiate and create some space, which allows us to arrive into the present moment, calm and regulate our body and nervous system so that we can interact with the external world from that rooted space within. Rooted and regulated is so important, especially when we are operating in the realm of social media, connecting with potential clients and audience and talking to team members, holding space for other people. Being that grounded, anchored energy is vital for the self, and it's also a beautiful gift to offer the other people that you are in connection with. So within that, daily practices of grounding are and have and will always be really supportive. My own journey, I have sat with many different teachers, coaches, healers, therapists to support me in different areas of my life, different facets of my experience and different stages of my journey. There's been times where I have had a mentor or a guide, where I've had a teacher, times where I've sat with in therapy sessions, times when I've sat with having more body work or healing on an energetic and spiritual level. And they all come in different seasons of my own life journey and of course different seasons within my business. But receiving that support is really huge and vital to feel nourished, held, witnessed, understood, to have a space that is a sounding board, somebody or multiple people within that team of support that can really hear you and feel you and be able to listen to you as you work through some of your own things. And that is such an intention of mine, to be able to offer that space for women that step into my world in whatever area they do, to be that space of safety and solidity and connection so that they feel they're able to express, share, feel, and work through any of the blocks, limitations, or experiences they are having that are holding them back within their life and within their sacred business. Receiving support is huge. And as I've mentioned there, I had that team around me and constantly do of teachers, guides and therapists and coaches and healers. But there was also a step for me in receiving support by beginning to build a team, which I like to feel into as my village, a team that can support my business and support me in the evolution and the expansion of sharing my message with the world. Trust and consistency are huge parts of evolution in whatever area we are evolving. Trust in the process, consistently showing up for yourself and holding all those tender parts of yourself in a loving embrace through all of the expansions and the contractions that life and business bring. To scale and expand my business, The Embodied Way, I set an intention to always return back into my why, consistently returning to why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I have this calling? Why am I sharing this? Why am I creating that? What is my reason? Because that is the passion point for me. When I sit with my why, I feel so deeply, like in my bones, the reason why I do what I do, why I share what I share, what I create, what I do in the world. And the why drives the motion forward. And when the passion of the why is sourced in soul, it will always be a powerful fuel for driving, evolving, and expanding in all areas of life and business. Within that, I constantly check in with myself that I am living or moving towards becoming the living embodiment of my message. Am I living what I am sharing? I doing all of the work that I offer and share to other people? And that's where it's always been so vital for me to be able to be in a space with a guide or a coach or a mentor so that I too am held as I am holding others. Another aspect of expansion within my business was becoming really comfortable being able to tell my story and sharing vulnerable parts of myself with others. Because that's the piece where your audience, your community begin to build a sense of knowing you, liking you, understanding you, trusting you, because they feel parts of themselves within everything that you share and offer. And when we don't have that vulnerability piece as a leader, as a guide, we can often feel a sense of disconnect between ourselves and our clients or our community or the audiences that we're speaking to. And underneath that, for me, was a big journey of also being able to let go of what others think about me, about what I'm saying, what I'm sharing, what I'm doing, and just trusting that the message will land with the right people, the right time, the right space, and those that it's not meant to land with, it won't, and that's okay. Stepping into becoming an embodied leader that I know I am here to be. Something changes, or something changed for me the moment that I stepped into the fullness of myself, and the moment that I welcomed that fullness into all areas of my life, including my business. When I brought my whole self to the table, when I brought my whole self to my business, my creations, to the connections and the relationships that I form with women that are in my world, something changed. It became fuller and richer and more embodied. And that deep desire that I have for all of those things was met on a completely different level. And it began to transform the way I move through my business and my creations and the ideas that I have and the actions I take. This newfound energy and passion and light was here. And it was really beautiful when that happened. So if you're a woman in conscious and sacred business, from my own personal journey, I have created a 6-week mastermind to support women to expand deeper into themselves and into the creations they are here to offer with the world. Throughout this mastermind, we will explore embodiment, releasing stories, reforming limited identities and beliefs, activating your message, your reason, your why, somatic expansion and scaling, business and the nervous system, magnetic storytelling and marketing, embodied leadership, and becoming the you are here to be. Embodied Business is a 6-week mastermind. We have limited spaces for this container, which offers an opportunity for depth and intimacy and connection throughout the 6 weeks. We begin on the 1st of March. All the details for the mastermind are linked in the show notes. You can find all of the information there. I welcome you to hop on over to Instagram and find me over there. If we're not connected there already, it's at Rebecca_Wilson_. I love to hear from you. So if this episode has landed with you in any way, it's moved something in you, or you've had an aha moment, come over into Instagram, send me a message, let me know. If you think that this episode would be supportive for any other women in your life, then please do share with them, share it far and wide. I really do desire to be able to touch as many women's lives as possible to support and guide them into their awakening and birthing their business into the world from an easeful and grounded, rooted, regulated, and embodied place. I look forward to sharing the journey with you. I look forward to connecting with you in some way, somehow. Have a beautiful day, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this musing and sharing, I would love for you to share this episode far and wide. You can arrive into all of my offerings at rebecca-wilson.com. Links to dive deeper with me are in the episode notes. Remember, my love, you are here to be the fullest, most potent, powerful, embodied version of you. I am here to guide you into that. Hey love, I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening.